Learn why you are good enough right now. What do you need to overcome? Many people feel like they're not good enough, but you can overcome those feelings because the truth is that you are good enough right now, and I'll show you why. Many people wonder if they're good enough, but can't really define what they mean by that. So let me clarify what I mean when I say good enough. I mean that you are worthy and deserving of love right now. You don't have to earn it. You already are. Let me give you another example of why you don't have to wait to be good enough. You are good enough now. Think about a peach tree. It goes through a growth cycle. It starts as a little seed, and then it sprouts, and it becomes a seedling and a sapling, and then it blossoms, and eventually it produces fruit. So, if the purpose of a peach tree is to produce peaches, then let's take a look at each of these cycles. At the first stage, when it's a little sprouting, it's not producing any peaches. So is it a failure? Is it not good enough? How about later, when it's a seedling? It's not producing peaches. Is it a failure? Is it not good enough? What about when it's a sapling? It's still not producing peaches. Does that mean that it's a failure and not good enough? How about when it's finally blossoming? Blossoms still aren't peaches. It's not producing. So is it a failure? Is it not good enough? And then when it finally does produce peaches, do we say, finally, it took you long enough, loser? No, that's not the way we think of a peach tree. We know and understand that each stage of development is important in order for a peach to be able to produce fruit. That means that at every stage of its development, it is perfect. It is good enough. It is growing, it is progressing, and all is well. What's true about the peach tree is also true about you. Whatever stage you're in is good enough right now. Each stage of growth is necessary. We might need some pruning from time to time, and that is okay. The only failure is giving up, because that stops progression. Let me give another example of why you are good enough right now. Let's say we're working toward perfection or being good enough. We have a starting point and we have a goal. I'm actually someplace in the middle, and that means there is a gap between where I am and where I want to be. There's another way to measure where I am, and that is the space between the starting point and where I am now. We can consider that the gain. If I focus on the gap, that space between where I am and where I want to be, I feel like a failure. I feel disappointment, discouragement, and like I'm not good enough. However, if I focus on the gain, the progress that I've made between where I started and where I am now, then I notice my growth and my progression. I gain confidence. Hey, I did it, and I can do some more. I feel happy and I feel successful. It all depends on where we focus. If we focus on the gain, we recognize that we are good enough. Let's take this analogy a little bit further. Some people believe that they have to be perfect in order to be good enough. There's a problem with that. Perfection is unattainable. That means I will never be good enough. Let's think about this for a minute. Who made up these rules? It's not fair. First of all, perfection is unattainable. And second of all, being good enough is a lousy reward. Good enough is just meh. Let's work toward a more exciting reward. Rather than working toward perfection and good enough, let's work toward fabulous and excellent. We're already good enough. What about what other people think? Do other people get to decide when we're good enough? The answer is, oh no. Now the truth is, we can't control what other people think about us. However, what they say about me can't hurt me unless I accept two things. One, I believe that what they're saying is true, and two, I believe that it's bad. Let me give you an example. If someone came up to you and said, "Oh, you are so purple. I cannot believe how purple you are. That is disgusting. If I were that purple, I wouldn't show my face." You probably wouldn't be offended. You'd probably be very confused. First of all, you'd be thinking, what are you talking about? I'm not purple. And second of all, you might be thinking, I like purple. What's wrong with being purple? So if you don't accept both of those, one, that I am purple, and two, that purple is bad, then having someone tell me that I'm purple is not going to hurt me. We don't need to give our power away to other people. Other people don't get to decide when we are good enough. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't care what other people think, because I do. I want you to like me, but if you don't, I'm still going to be okay, because I like myself. And here's something interesting. When you accept yourself, you will attract other people who accept you as well. The process of healing and overcoming has 3 steps. Step 1, feel good. Step 2, increase self-love. And step 3, become aware and let go. This video is a part of step 2, increasing self-love. I encourage you to watch all of the videos in this series about empowering overcomers. Step 1, feel good. Step 2, increase self-love. Step 3, become aware and let go, parts 1 and part 2. Overcoming trauma and abuse, and why you are good enough right now. My name is Linda Bjork, and I am an overcomer. I have overcome depression, anxiety, trauma, low self-esteem, self-limiting beliefs, and self-sabotage. I started Hope for Healing nonprofit to help empower other people to be able to overcome their challenges as well. And I have interviewed hundreds of experts and overcomers on my podcast, Linda's Corner. I invite you to grab a copy of one of my books, like Crushed, A Journey Through Depression, and You Got This, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. Thank you.